guys, welcome back to Chilpi's Academy.
Okay, so let's start off with the next chapter, guys, and that is business correspondence. Business correspondence is, one second. A business letter is a letter from one business entity to another. The purpose of the letter is about the relationship. See, business correspondence is basically when two business, they give letters to each other, no? For the correspondence. Correspondence is what? You all know what is correspondence, right? Exchanging letters, information, all those things. That is correspondence. So we are going to talk here about business correspondence. Okay. Now, why do you think a CS wants to know about business correspondence? Guys, you would be the people who will be responsible for this entire correspondence, whether you are working or whether you are practicing. You are going to be totally involved in corresponding with the businesses. In fact, you have to be good with it. Okay. In fact, I have a very close friend. She's a practicing CS, amazing knowledge and everything she has, very good with her work. She's a little senior to me, but when it comes to correspondence, no, till now, whenever there is any emails or any letters which she has to send formally to her clients or anything, she'll always mark a copy to me, ask me to edit it and then forward it further. So this correspondence is very, very, very important for all of you to learn. Okay. Today's business letters, with their conversational tone and the application of psychology, are a big improvement over the letter of bygone days. Previously, you know, the letters used to be very formal and dead kind of letters. Okay. Nowadays, the letters are more interactive. It is more conversational. It looks like the person is speaking to you kind of a thing. Okay. Before, the letters were very typical, like, hello, how are you? I hope this letter finds you in the pink of health. I would just like to bring to your notice that, and you know, it used to be a very dead kind of letters. Nowadays, it's more conversational, more informal, and you feel like, yes, someone is talking to you kind of a thing. Now, what are the essentials of a business letter? Quickly, we'll go through all this. Okay. One thing is you need a letterhead. Okay. In letterhead, what all is there? The logo of the company should be there. The tagline should be there, right? The tagline could be like, for Nike, it is just do it. And you know, those kind of taglines. The name and address of registered and corporate office, if you have separate offices. Otherwise, only one officer, then only registered office is okay. But a lot of big companies, no, they have two separate offices, registered and corporate. Because registered offices for the ROC details, where all the information comes. Corporate offices where the main functions of the company happens. Then corporate identity number, the SIN number, okay? So this 13, 14 digit number, what it means, every digit, what it denotes. Contact numbers, email address. So this all has to be there on the letterhead. Logo, tagline, address, number, contact, email address. Reference number. What is reference number? See, sometimes, no, when for the same conversation, same issue, we are exchanging 10, 20 letters. Then what happens is, it is good to have a reference number. So that later when you want to bring out that, no, you know that which code, which letter number it was. So the codes could be something like, if it is going from sales department, then it could be something like SL02/341. So it kind of tells you the code from where to pick out that letter. Date has to be written. It's better not to write the date like 1/6/19, because sometimes for July also we might write 6. It's a small mistake which could be made. It's better to write it as 1/6/19. In this case, we will mostly not make a mistake. Then next is your special markings. Special markings is your we a lot of times see this, no, through registered post, confidential. Whenever any bank ATM card or something is coming in post, they will write, no, confidential over there. Means it is only for that person. That is a special marking. Inside address. Now in the letter also, no, you should write the address. So a lot of times if you see, the letter content also has the name and address of the person, because once we keep that letter in our file, no, we will not keep the envelope in the file, right? When we get letters, we kind of punch it and put it in a file, no? In that also, if the address is written, it is better. Same as that of envelope. Attention line should be there, like how we put, no? Like it is addressed to the company's department. Then supposing you are sending a letter to Reliance. So in that, you should mention on the letter, the first line itself, for the marketing department or for the HR department. So like that, one attention line should be there. Salutation, all of you know what is salutation, right? Sir, dear sir, etc. Subject heading should be there. I think all of you would know this. When we write a letter, we say, no, dear sir, then subject, lost ATM card, kind like that. So that is your subject heading. Then main body of the letter should always be divided into paragraphs. Please don't write an essay kind of a thing. It should be divided in 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. Main introduction paragraph, then the body, and then the last ending, thanking you, and I hope kindly take action, and those kind of things. Complimentary close, all of you know what is a complimentary close, right? Yours truly, faithfully, sincerely. Now, where to use what? If you're telling someone sir, it is good to use yours truly. Okay, that sir could be anyone. It could be a bank manager, it could be any department head. Dear sir, if you are saying, then dear denotes that yes, you are a little close to that person. So you can say something like yours faithfully. Mostly we do it this yours faithfully and all that we do mostly in, say, when we are writing in interview letters, or when to our school college principals. When you're addressing someone by their name, it's okay to write yours sincerely. Means the person might be in a similar level as you. The person might be in the similar age as you. So you write yours sincerely. Signatory, you need to write down the entire name and the designation of the person. And then you should leave a little line above this so that you can sign it. You should also give the list of enclosures. Enclosures means what? What all copies are you attaching with it? Like when you will become a CS and when you will apply for membership number, no? So you will have to enclose everything, your articleship, your mark sheets of CSET, intermediate, final, everything. So you would have to write in the letter, all the documents have been enclosed. Annexure is if we wish to annex some documents with the letter, then the information about these may be listed at the end. So annexure is something like when you want that person to refer some document along with it, okay? That time you say annexure. Be very careful of the enclosure is different and annexure is different. Enclosure means it is kind of joined with the letter itself. 4 or 5 documents you have to give along with the letter. Annexure is which is a supporting document, okay? That is a annexure. So you need to be clear about what is enclosure, what is annexure. This, I think all of you would understand what is formal letter, what is informal letter. Formal letter is when for some business deal, order, claim, dispute, settlement, etc. Informal letter does not mean 2 friends exchanging letters. Okay, we are talking of informal business correspondence. So it is business related. It would be something like when customers give some complaint, when some memorandums are there, appraisal interviews are there, those kind of things. Memorandums and all, I will explain you later what is memorandum. 2 important format which you need to remember in a letter is blocked format and semi-blocked format. See this blocked format. This is an example of a blocked format. This is the letterhead, okay, where everything is mentioned, the name of the company, the tagline should be there, the office address, the phone number, the email ID, the SIN number should be there. This is your reference number, the date, the address. This is again your reference number. This is your salutation, the body which is divided in paragraphs. This is your ending thing, and this is the last signature part. Over here, the person can do the signature. So this is a blocked format. Blocked format, why? Can you see? See, this is the letterhead, okay? Can you see everything is on the left side? Each and everything is on the left side of the paper, letter. All this is on left side. So this is known as blocked format. Semi-blocked format is when everything is not on the left side, okay? It is equally distributed. See, this part is on the left, the date is on the right, reference number is in the middle, and this yours faithfully is on the right. So this is known as semi-blocked format, okay? Will you all remember blocked and semi-blocked? Will you all please remember blocked and semi-blocked? Blocked format, everything is on the left. Semi-blocked format, something on left, something on right, something's in the middle. It is equally distributed, okay? So please remember this blocked and semi-blocked formats. Essentials of a good business letter is very simple. It should be a complete letter. There should be clarity. Clarity means whatever you're saying should be clearly understood, okay? And you should do it in as simple a word as possible. Simplicity means don't try to confuse something by writing 3-4 big sentences about it, okay? It should be accurate. Just tell what you are coming here to tell. Don't give backstory, end story, stories which is not required. Okay, accurate. Now, mark brevity is important. I'm going to explain brevity to you. You should be sincere about something and you should have courtesy in your letter. Mark brevity important. Brevity in letter is the soul of a commercial correspondence. The writer must see that every sentence he has written is impregnated with appropriate meaning. Basically, brevity is whatever word you are using in the business letter should make sense, should have a meaning, should have a reason why it is there. Okay. Say, for example, you lost your ATM debit card and you're writing a letter. If you write a letter where you say something like, I was going on the road and then suddenly someone bumped me from behind. I turned back and I saw that someone wearing a yellow shirt had bumped me. And then later I realized my ATM card was missing. All that story is not required, right? That is why it should be brevity. You should just tell what is required. Then second thing in this brevity example can be, same thing you're saying in 2-3 different sentences. Like for example, I have lost my ATM card. I am feeling really upset about why I lost the ATM card. In fact, I'm so angry about losing my ATM card that I really don't know now what to do. I'm still thinking on what should be my next step of action. So all this is what? The same thing you're telling in different words, different ways of saying it. All that should not be there. Okay, that is what is brevity. Brevity is every word which is there on the paper should have a reason of being there. Okay, it should have meaning. Sincerity, all of you understand, you should be sincere enough. Courtesy should be there. You can have a personal style. You should not have a self-centered approach or writer-oriented approach. Means you should not write the letter in a way that you only bother about yourself. You should not say, see, this is how I want things, but this is not how it is done. I want it to be done like this. I felt bad. It should not be a very self-centered approach. Mark, this is important, the you attitude in business writing. You attitude means you are not bothered about the reader. You are only thinking about you. So business messages should, I'm sorry, it should always, it should not be actually, that business letter must be written from you viewpoint instead of I or we viewpoint. Means you should see, for example, here itself, if I'm teaching you and if I'm just bothered about I, okay, if I just keep on saying, see, I used to do like this, see, I will study like this, see, if I would have been there at your place, I would have done this. So if I just keep on saying I, you're not interested, okay, because I have to understand on what you can do. So I have to be more bothered about you, okay, because if I'm bothered about I now, then why are you here? The reason why you're here is because I'm going to bother about you. Okay, so we need to have a you attitude in business writing where we are bothered about you, about the person reading this letter. All right, so that is this you attitude. It creates a friendly atmosphere. It motivates the reader. It makes you trust me. Okay, if you people don't trust me, then you would not want to study from me, right? Because you people trusted me, you are here and now you are studying from me, right? So that is very important, because you people somewhere would have felt that I have this you attitude. Maybe you didn't realize it, but somewhere you would have felt that I would care about you. I would bother about you. And that is why this you attitude is there. Okay. If I just give an I attitude, it doesn't work. If I keep on saying, see, I cleared CS in my first attempt. See, I had done this. No one is bothered. Okay. Positive message, negative message, all of you would understand. Positive is something good. Congratulations, something like that. Negative messages, it's a bad news. Okay, it's a bad news. Negative message is a bad news. Persuasive messages. Mark, this is important, please. Persuasive message. You need to be more encouraged. Okay, like say for example, you are over here and you are not yet decided whether you want to go for a November attempt. So my message would be a persuasive message to you. My message would be that please do not miss this opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity for you. You people have a home-based exam. There is no Viva. Trust me guys, you need to give this attempt. So this is like a persuasive message, okay? Mark this important, please. Report is derived from the Latin word reportere, which means to carry back. Please mark this first sentence important. It is basically to carry back. So all of you know what is a reporter, right? News reporters and all these people. What are these news reporters? What do? They go attend the scene somewhere and they write a brief about that and come to you. Okay, so that is a business report. They see something and they come back and tell you about that. That is a report. We say, sometimes like, oh, you went to that party, come give me the entire report now. So report is something when you've attended something, seen everything, and now you're coming back and talking about it, explaining it. Okay, so that is a report. So this is what is a business report. I wanted to pick one or two sentences over here. 1 second. The report is a message to the management. It travels from an employee to a supervisor, supervisor to executive, and then to the management. So a lot of times, this business managers, the top level people, what they do is some conferences and all that happen. So they send their juniors and executives to go and then come back and tell what all they learned over there, what all happened over there. So that is like a business report. Okay. So they have to write down, type down everything, what they learned over there, what they saw, and that is known as a business report. Now, what are the various types of business report? Compliance, corporate governance, sustainability. All of you know who makes a corporate governance report? Corporate governance report is made by which person? CS, who makes a corporate governance report. So all of you future company secretaries sitting over here, you are the people who would be making this corporate governance report, okay? Actually, I mostly never say future CS. I always talk like CS only because the intention is that I want all of you to become a CS. You have to believe it first, okay? You have to look at yourself like a CS. You have to think that you are a CS. You have to feel like you are the CS, okay? Let's understand how do we write effective business reports. It should not be in essay format. Nothing actually should be in an essay format. If you write something in an essay format, no, everyone loses interest to read it. You should split it into paragraphs, portions, topics like that. Okay. So this business report would be split into the intro part where who all were there, what were the main points discussed, then in detail. So something like that. You should split your business report properly. You should have heading, subheading, bullet points, diagram, table, etc. The business report should contain 4 main elements. Okay. What are those 4 main elements? Key findings or recommendations. What did you find out? That meeting which you attended, what did you found over there? Then the body, talking in detail about it. Then your summary. What is your interpretation? What is your thought? What is your feeling? So you have to summarize the entire thing. Last is conclusion. So what action do you think the company should take based on what on this report? That is conclusion. All is okay. This is important, guys. Please mark it as important. Inter and intra-departmental communication. Do all of you know what is inter and intra? All of you have attended all this, no? Inter-school competition and intra-school competition. Inter is, what is inter-school competition? When 3-4 schools are competing with each other, it is inter-school. Intra-school is when inside the school only you are having a competition, okay? Like we used to have this houses, no? Like, I don't know whether the trend is still there. Our time we had this house, red house, blue house, yellow house, green house. You were split into that, no? So when that competition is there, it is intra-school. Inter-school, when 4-5 schools are participating, it is inter-school, okay? Now let us understand what is inter-department and intra-department, okay? Inter-department is when 3-4 departments are communicating with each other, okay? So Reliance office, Reliance is a huge company. So their marketing department, sales department, purchase department, HR department, legal department, they all are communicating with each other. Then it is inter-department, 2 departments communicating with each other. Intra-department is within the same department. In the legal department itself, letters are being exchanged. Now it is intra-department, all right? The names are different, no? Every school, they will have different names for houses. Our school, the name was, for red, it was Scarlet. For blue, they called it Royal. For yellow, they called it Gold. and green they called it emerald. That was our house names. Okay. So interdepartmental communication is largely a formal affair. Interdepartmental communication will be effective when it is supported by good infrastructure, facilities, etc. Okay. Now let's understand quickly what is memorandum, circular, order, and notes. Okay. Memorandum is records for future use. Please mark it. Records for future use. It is of inter and infra office communication is being done over the phone. Memorandums are preferred when one needs to convey information in writing. Memos have same headings. There may be a slight change in formats inside name, address, salutation, etc., etc. When addressed to all employees, it is as good as an office circular. Memos are also issued in case of disciplinary actions to be taken against employees with respect to show cause notice, charge sheet, etc. Okay. Memorandum is more like, it's like a record for future use. Okay, it's like more of information which is put over there. Okay, so something like employee regularly comes late for office. Then what happens is you give a memorandum that you put up a memorandum that every employee is supposed to come at 10 a.m. If they are late by 15 minutes, half day salary would be cut, and those kind of things. Okay. So this is a memorandum. When you address a memorandum to a few people, to that department, to one person, or to a few more people in particular, it is memorandum. But if you give it for the entire office, it is as good as an office circular. Okay. So there is a thin line of difference between memorandum and circular. Circular can be given to, is general information given. Okay. Like when I told, everyone is supposed to come punctual at 10 a.m. to office. Every Friday you can wear a casual dress. All that is office circular given to everyone. Memorandum is more specific nature things, like someone has done some fraud you felt, or someone has gone to a dinner for a private purpose and they have billed it to the office. So you give him a show cause notice, furnish the reasons. Did you actually go for a professional lunch? You have given a 5,000 bill for the lunch. Was it a professional lunch? Give us the details. All that is memorandum. Circular is when you give information to a large number of employees. This also I've already discussed before. It is not very formal. It's a very brief thing. Okay, it could be something like office circular. Could be something like tomorrow we are celebrating Janmashtami. All of you can come dressed in your informal clothes, and you put it up. So that's circular. Orders is similar to memorandum, but what makes them different is the purpose and the tone employed. They deal with matters affecting rights and privileges of employees, and language used is formal. They carry a number since they remain in force till revoked, and a bold underlined heading to help us identify them. So office orders is more strict than circular. What is the difference in circular and format is circular is general information. Tomorrow is Janmashtami. Tomorrow we are celebrating the annual day in office, or those kind of things. Order is like strict. Order is like, we want every employee to come at 10 a.m. If 10 minutes also they are late, we are going to cut the entire half day salary. We are not going to encourage personal people visiting the office. So this kind of things is strict, more strict. They are like, it is in bold, it is underlined, it is like an order. Okay, you need to do it. Something like that. Okay. So office note is exchanged between two different departments, and its format may differ from company to company. It is a basic note. Okay, when you try to just give information to each other, like purchase department gives a note to the marketing department that we have already purchased so many goods, but this is not getting sold properly. So please ramp up your marketing efforts for this product particularly. So those are office notes. Memo, why it is different from a letter, it does not have any salutation and complimentary clause. There is nothing of dear sir, yours faithfully, all that is not there. It's a standard template, which is a memo. Used to instructions to staff, make requests, give information. Language is polite and courteous. Okay. Memo language is polite and courteous, but does an office order language is polite and courteous? No. Office circular, it does not have any, it is very blank. It is very to the face. It is very pinpointed. What is the information? Put out over there. That's all. It's put out in an informal way. So I want you all to go through this well. This is a little confusing. Okay. So I want you to go through this well. Memorandum, office circular, office order, and your this office note. So there's 4 things I want you all to go through it well and pick the keywords. Okay, like say for example, memo. Memo has a different kind of a language. Memo has a polite language. Office order does not have a polite language. So pick out these keywords because this is how they can ask you MCQ questions. Okay. After this, there is one important concept. That is known as management information concept, which I want to explain it in a different class because it's an important concept. The entire MIS thing is important. So till now what we did, I will just quickly do a 2 minutes recap. Listening skills, the various types of listenings: discriminative, empathetic, persuasive, those kind of listening. Then various types of listeners: active, passive, non-listeners, those kind of listeners. Then how can you improve your listening skills? Then what are the barriers to listening? Okay, so those were the important things which we did, and I told you the task is to go through that YouTube video, which I'll share it on the group, on how to listen and answer questions. Okay, that was a part of Viva. Actually, you don't have Viva, but that would be helpful for you to understand certain things. One thing. Next thing we did today was business correspondence. In this entire business correspondence, what is important for the exam perspective, I'm going to tell you what is business correspondence. Okay, formal and informal. Remember that business correspondence, informal letter is not friend letters. It is informal in the business itself. Okay. Then blocked and semi-blocked, very important. Blocked, everything is left. Semi-blocked, something is left, date is right, something is in the center, and the ending part is on the right. That you need to remember. Then business reports. Okay, what is a report? The meaning of that word report. Then memorandum, circular notes, all these things. So this is all that was important from your exam perspective. And of course, we will give you the MCQs after we are done with all the classes. Practice all the MCQs. Bye-bye till then.